Ethan Harris stood quietly among his fellow soldiers on the open field of Orion 3, staring at the strange ship hovering silently in the distance. This was a neutral planet, chosen specifically for its barren open lands where neither side had an advantage. The air was heavy with anticipation, thick with tension. After years of devastating war between humans and the Zelenari, peace had finally come. But it was fragile and could easily be shattered. Today was meant to be a step forward. A prisoner exchange intended to build trust between two species that barely understood one another. Ethan was a seasoned soldier who had witnessed the horrors of battle firsthand. Now, standing beneath the strange purple-hued sky, he felt uneasy. He understood war clearly, but peace felt uncertain and delicate. The Zelenari ship landed gracefully, settling on the dusty surface without kicking up much dirt. Its sleek metallic form was beautiful yet menacing, glowing faintly with an alien light. Ethan tightened his jaw as the ramp slowly lowered. His heart beat quickly, wondering what the aliens would look like face to face, without the distortion. Battle-dot figures began to emerge from the ship, tall and elegant with smooth blue-gray skin that shimmered under the dim sunlight. Their eyes were large and expressive, reflecting colors he had never seen before. The humans around Ethan shifted nervously, hands subtly moving towards their weapons. But the commanding officer raised his hand in a signal for calm. One by one, the prisoners were exchanged. Humans walked hesitantly from the alien ship, their faces pale and thin from captivity. The aliens released by humanity moved gracefully toward their people, their eyes wary but relieved. Ethan watched quietly, glad to see people returning safely, yet something within him remained restless. Finally, after all the prisoners had been exchanged, Ethan saw movement on the alien ship once more. A slender figure stepped cautiously onto the ramp. She moved slowly, her steps uncertain and shaky. Unlike the others, she was not tall or commanding. Instead, she appeared fragile, almost delicate. Ethan felt a strange tug at his heart as she hesitated, her large violet eyes wide with fear. An alien commander stepped forward, speaking to the human commander in a clear, precise voice. Ethan strained to hear what was being said. "This is Lyra," the alien said carefully. "She is given to you as a gesture of trust and goodwill. We expect her to be treated kindly." Confusion rippled through the human ranks. Ethan exchanged quick glances with his comrades. None of them had expected this. The commanding officer seemed equally taken aback, but quickly composed himself. "We thank you," the human commander replied, his voice firm yet cautious. "We will ensure her safety and comfort." The alien commander nodded once before turning sharply and walking back toward his ship, leaving Lyra standing alone. She looked small and vulnerable under the vast sky, her pale skin glowing faintly in the harsh sunlight. Ethan's commanding officer gestured for someone to step forward. Ethan, without thinking, moved ahead of the others. He approached Lyra slowly, seeing how her body tensed with every step he took. Ethan stopped a few feet away, careful not to frighten her further. Her eyes met his, searching for kindness, for reassurance. "My name is Ethan," he said gently. "You don't have to be afraid. No one here will harm you." Lyra stared at him silently, for a long moment, seemingly judging his sincerity. Slowly, she took a small step forward, her delicate features betraying hesitation and fear. "Lyra," she whispered, her voice barely audible, yet musical in its softness. "My name is Lyra." Ethan offered a reassuring smile, holding out his hand in a gesture of peace. Lyra stared at uncertainly, then tentatively reached out and touched his fingers. Her skin felt cool, softer than he expected. He gently guided her towards the human ranks, careful to keep his movements slow and calm. As they walked, Ethan noticed how others stared at them curiously, their eyes filled with suspicion or confusion. Yet he kept his focus on Lyra, ensuring she felt safe beside him. They reached the temporary quarters established for the prisoners and guests. It was a simple structure, practical but plain. Ethan opened the door, motioning for her to enter. Inside. The room was sparse but clean. There was a small bed, a chair, and a table. Ethan turned to see Lyra's reaction, worried she might find the conditions uncomfortable. Instead, she seemed relieved, slowly sitting on the bed, her body visibly relaxing. "Is this all right?" Ethan asked softly, careful not to startle her. Nodded gently, her eyes still wary, but no longer terrified. "It is very kind," she said quietly. "Thank you." Ethan felt relief wash over him, sensing he had made the right decision. "You can rest now," he told her gently. "I will be close by if you need anything." She nodded again, her eyes closing as exhaustion overtook her. Ethan stepped out quietly, shutting the door behind him. Outside, he found his commanding officer, waiting, a curious expression on his face. "You handled that well, Ethan," the officer said, his tone approving yet cautious. "But be careful. Not everyone trusts the peace we're building here." Ethan nodded gravely, understanding clearly what was at stake. "I will keep her safe, sir," he replied firmly. "She has already suffered enough." His commanding officer smiled briefly, placing a firm hand on Ethan's shoulder. "I believe you will," he said, turning to leave. "But be ready. There will be challenges ahead." Ethan stood alone, looking up at the strange sky, knowing the officer was right. Yet, as he thought of Lyra, so fragile and alone, determination filled him. He would protect her, even if the peace around them collapsed into chaos once more. He had seen too much suffering to allow any more harm to come to someone innocent and vulnerable. With renewed resolve, Ethan turned back toward the temporary quarters, knowing his path had changed forever the moment Lyra stepped from that alien ship. The future was uncertain, filled with risks and dangers he could scarcely imagine. But Ethan Harris was ready. Peace, after all, began with small acts of kindness, and he was determined to take the first step no matter the cost. Following the attack, Jason became even more cautious, always alert to possible dangers surrounding Mira. He felt responsible not only for her safety, but also for the trust and hope her people had placed in him. As the days passed, Jason became more deeply involved in palace life, continuously strengthening his bond with the alien community. Mira, growing stronger and wiser each day, began actively participating in the daily decisions of her kingdom. She stood alongside Zara and Jason, offering insights and thoughtful opinions. The citizens admired her wisdom and kindness, recognizing the extraordinary bond between Myra and Jason. One afternoon, Zara requested Jason's presence in the palace gardens. There, among blooming flowers and tall, elegant trees, Zara spoke carefully. "Jason, you've proven yourself loyal, brave, and wise. But there remains one more challenge." Jason met her gaze steadily. "I'm ready, Zara. What must I do?" "There is a gathering of leaders from neighboring kingdoms soon," Zara explained. "Myra must be introduced officially as our future leader. Your presence as her guardian is essential. But it will also put you directly under the scrutiny of many who still mistrust humans." Jason nodded calmly. "I understand. I'll stand with Myra, no matter what." The day of the gathering arrived quickly. Representatives from many planets and kingdoms filled the great hall, their various appearances reflecting diverse cultures and traditions. Jason stood proudly by Myra's side, aware of the cautious, questioning looks directed toward him. General Kale stepped forward, addressing the assembly. "We welcome our allies and friends today. It is my honor to present Princess Myra, our future queen." Myra stepped forward confidently, her voice clear and steady. "Thank you all for coming. I stand before you prepared to lead with fairness, kindness, and strength." The assembly applauded warmly, visibly impressed by Myra's dignity and grace. Then General Kale continued, "With Myra is Jason, her guardian and father by choice. Although human, he has proven himself a loyal protector and wise counselor." Immediately, murmurs filled the hall. A leader from a neighboring kingdom, tall and authoritative, stood and spoke sternly. "Why should we trust this human? We know their history. They seek power and conquest. Jason stepped forward, speaking respectfully yet firmly. I understand your concerns. Humans have made mistakes, as have all people. But my only desire is Mira's safety and happiness. She has shown me kindness and trust when I was alone, and in return, I pledge my life to protect her and her people. Myra spoke, clearly stepping beside Jason. Jason has shown only bravery, kindness, and love. He has risked everything for me. I trust him completely, as do my people. The assembly considered their words carefully. Another leader, older and wise-looking, stood up. Actions speak louder than words. Jason has proven himself through actions, not empty promises. Let us accept this human's loyalty and move forward together. General Kale nodded in agreement, clearly relieved by the leader's words. The atmosphere in the hall gradually shifted, becoming more accepting and respectful toward Jason. As the gathering ended, Zara approached Jason, visibly proud. You did well. Myra chose wisely when she chose you. Jason smiled gratefully. Myra saved me as much as I saved her. Weeks passed, and life gradually became peaceful and harmonious in the kingdom. Jason felt a deep sense of belonging, surrounded by people who had grown to trust and respect him. Myra continued her lessons, growing stronger and more capable each day. One evening, as the sun set gently over the palace, Zara approached Jason thoughtfully. Jason, I must share something important. We discovered information about Myra's parents. They left a message, hoping one day Myra would understand their actions. Jason listened carefully, his heart heavy for Myra. Does Myra know? Not yet, Zara replied softly. I wanted you with her when she hears it. She will need your strength. Jason agreed immediately. Let's tell her together. They found Myra sitting quietly in the palace library, reading. She looked up with a smile as Jason and Zara entered, quickly sensing their serious expressions. Myra, Zara began gently, we discovered something important. Your parents left a message explaining why they had to leave you. Myra's eyes widened, filled with sudden anxiety. Jason sat beside her, placing a comforting arm around her shoulders. What did they say? Myra asked quietly. Zara carefully shared the message. They left you to protect you. Enemies threatened your family, determined to use you against your parents. Leaving you hidden and safe was the hardest decision they ever made. They loved you deeply, Myra. Tears filled Myra's eyes. As she listened, I wish I had known. Jason hugged her gently. They wanted you safe more than anything. Now you know they never stopped loving you. Myra hugged Jason tightly, comforted by his presence. Thank you, Jason. You've always been here for me. Life soon returned to normal, Myra drawing strength from knowing her parents had always loved her. Jason continued supporting her as she prepared to lead her people. Then, suddenly, a new threat appeared. Zara hurried to Jason urgently. A hostile force approaches our borders. They seek Myra. Jason immediately sprang into action. We must protect Myra. Gather our warriors quickly. As warriors prepared, Jason stood before Myra, holding her hands reassuringly. No matter what happens, I will always protect you. I know. Myra whispered softly, tears in her eyes. Please be careful. Jason and Zara led warriors toward the approaching threat, determined to defend Myra and their home. As battle approached, Jason felt no fear, only fierce determination to protect the family he had found. He knew with Myra behind him and Zara at his side, they would face whatever lay ahead bravely and together. Jason settled slowly into his new life in the Grand Palace, surrounded by Myra's alien people. Although he was often treated cautiously by those around him, he remained calm and kind, always patient and respectful. Zara continued to guide him, helping Jason to understand the complex customs and traditions of their society. Each day, Myra attended special classes with teachers who trained her to become a leader. She learned about the history of her people, their culture, and the many responsibilities she would soon face. Jason often watched her classes from a distance, filled with pride at how quickly and gracefully she adapted. One afternoon, Zara took Jason to the large training grounds outside the palace. Warriors trained there daily, honing their skills to protect the kingdom. Zara handed Jason a training weapon, smiling slightly. "You must learn our ways if you are to stay," Zara said firmly. "It will help you earn respect." Jason nodded, understanding clearly. He faced his opponent, a strong young warrior named Taran. As they began their practice, Jason focused carefully, determined to show he was worthy. Initially, Taran easily overpowered Jason, knocking him to the ground several times. Jason stood up each time, refusing to give up. As hours passed, Jason gradually improved, surprising both Taran and Zara with his determination and resilience. By the end of the day, even Taran showed Jason genuine respect. "Well done, human," Taran said, offering Jason his hand. "You fight bravely." Jason smiled gratefully, shaking Taran's hand. "Thank you. I have a good teacher." Word quickly spread of Jason's courage and determination. Slowly, attitudes began to shift. The alien people saw Jason not just as a human, but as a brave and loyal protector of their princess. One evening, Maya returned from her studies, visibly upset. Jason immediately noticed her distress and knelt beside her. "What's wrong, Mira?" he asked gently. "Some students said terrible things about you," Myra replied sadly, tears filling her eyes. "They said humans are bad and can't be trusted." Jason hugged Mira gently, comforting her. "Not everyone understands yet, Mira, but they'll see that I'm here for you. Don't let their words hurt you." Myra hugged Jason tightly, comforted by his strength and reassurance. Zara watched quietly from the doorway, her heart touched by the sincere bond between Jason and Mira. The following day, Zara arranged a special meeting. Leaders and influential citizens filled a great hall in the palace, curious about the human who had earned Mira's trust. Jason stood calmly before them, his heart steady despite their scrutinizing eyes. "Jason," Zara began clearly, addressing everyone present, "please tell us why you chose to protect and care for Princess Mira." Jason took a deep breath, speaking honestly and simply. "When I found Myra, she was alone, frightened, and abandoned. She needed help, and I knew I couldn't leave her. To me, Myra became my family. My choice to protect her wasn't difficult. I did it because she deserved safety, love, and a home." A quiet murmur moved through the hall. People clearly moved by. Jason's sincere words. General Kale stood, addressing Jason directly. "Our history with humans has not always been good. Why should we trust you now?" Jason faced General Kale respectfully. "I understand your doubts. All I ask is a chance to prove myself through my actions, not just my words. Myra trusts me, and her trust means everything to me." General Kale considered Jason carefully, finally nodding slowly. "Very well. You will have your chance." Over the next weeks, Jason continued proving himself through his dedication and actions. He joined patrols with the warriors, helped rebuild parts of the city damaged by recent conflicts, and even taught the alien citizens useful skills from his own experiences. Gradually, the people began to trust Jason completely. One morning, Zara approached Jason with concern clearly visible on her face. "Jason, there is trouble," she said quietly. "We received threats against Mira from a powerful group within the kingdom. They refused to accept a human as her guardian and protector." Jason felt a sudden sense of dread. "What can we do to protect Myra?" Zara's eyes were determined. "We must stay vigilant. Myra must remain safe. You have earned the respect of many, but some still resist." Jason immediately went to Mira, keeping a watchful eye over her as she continued her lessons. Days passed, and tension in the palace grew, whispers of danger becoming increasingly common. Jason refused to leave Myra's side, determined to keep her safe. One night, alarms suddenly echoed throughout the palace. Jason quickly gathered Myra into his arms, shielding her protectively as they rushed into the hall. Zara and her warriors swiftly surrounded them, weapons drawn. Attackers breached the outer gates. Zara informed them urgently. We must move quickly. Jason held Myra tightly as they hurried through hidden passages beneath the palace, guided by Zara. Behind them, sounds of battle filled the air. But Jason remained focused on keeping Myra safe, finally reaching a secure hidden chamber deep beneath. The palace, Zara turned to Jason seriously. Stay here with Myra. Protect her at all costs. I must return to help defend the palace. Jason nodded firmly. I won't let anything happen to her. Myra clung tightly to Jason, frightened yet comforted by his calm strength. Jason spoke softly to her, reassuring her that they will be all right. Hours passed slowly in tense silence. Eventually, the sounds of battle faded. Jason waited patiently until finally, footsteps approached. Zara entered the chamber, weary but unharmed. The attackers have been defeated, Zara said, relief evident in her voice. Your bravery and dedication have proven your loyalty beyond doubt. Our people have witnessed your courage. They accept you fully now. Jason felt immense relief and gratitude. Thank you, Zara. No, Zara said, smiling warmly. Thank you, Jason. Your actions have brought peace and hope to our kingdom. You truly are Myra's father. Jason smiled gently, embracing Myra tightly, knowing they had overcome one of their greatest challenges yet. Together, they stepped out of the hidden chamber, ready to face whatever came next, side by side. Jason and Myra stood in the large, bright command room of Zara's spaceship, waiting quietly as Zara carefully watched them. Zara paced slowly, her eyes deep in thought. The crew around them whispered softly to each other, glancing curiously at Jason, the human who had somehow earned the trust of their princess. Come, Zara finally said, waving her hand. Jason gently squeezed Myra's hand, following Zara into a private chamber connected to the main room. The doors closed silently behind them. Sit down, Zara instructed firmly, pointing to comfortable chairs near a large window showing endless stars outside. Jason and Myra sat close together, Jason's protective arm around Myra. Tell me, Jason, Zara began softly, why would you risk your life for a child that is not your own kind? Jason looked steadily into Zara's eyes, his voice calm and clear. Because Myra needed someone. She was alone and scared. It didn't matter to me that she wasn't human. She needed help, and I could help her. Zara's expression softened a little, her sharp gaze moving between Jason and Myra. Myra, do you truly consider this human your father? Myra nodded firmly, her eyes full of trust and affection. Jason saved me when I had nobody. He cared for me, fed me, protected me. He is my dad, and I trust him more than anyone. Zara sighed deeply, finally relaxing slightly. You must understand something, she explained quietly. Myra is extremely important to our people. She is a princess, and many seek her power for their own gain. I was sent to protect her, to return her home safely. Jason glanced at Myra, worry, filling his heart. What will happen to Myra now? Zara considered her response carefully. Myra must return home to assume her rightful place. She must be trained and prepared to lead her people. But now I see clearly that separating you would harm her greatly. I won't leave Jason, Myra said firmly, her voice trembling slightly. With emotion. I know, Zara replied gently. Perhaps there is another way. But you must understand, Jason, that you will face great challenges ahead. Our people may not welcome you easily. I'll face whatever comes, Jason assured her firmly. I won't leave Myra. Zara nodded, impressed by Jason's determination and courage. Very well. I will help you, but you must trust me completely. The next days aboard the spaceship passed quickly. Zara introduced Jason and Myra to her crew, ensuring they understood that Jason was to be respected and treated kindly. Still, the alien crew watched Jason cautiously at first. Uncertain of the human among them, Jason worked hard to prove himself, learning the alien crew's ways and assisting with repairs and tasks. He earned their respect through his kindness, determination, and honesty. Gradually, friendships began to form, and soon the crew treated Jason as one of their own. Myra spent her time learning more about her heritage from Zara, studying their language, history, and customs. Jason watched with pride as Myra quickly grew more confident, embracing her role as a princess with grace and strength. But despite the harmony aboard the ship, Jason sensed the challenges Zara had warned about were close. His fears were soon confirmed when the ship finally approached Myra's home planet. From the window, Jason watched in awe as a beautiful world appeared, glowing blue and green against the blackness of space. "It's amazing," Jason whispered softly. "Yes," Zara agreed quietly, standing beside him. "But remember, there are dangers here. Be careful, Jason. Many will not accept a human among us." The spaceship landed smoothly on a large landing pad, and Jason took Myra's hand protectively. The doors opened slowly, and they stepped out together into bright sunlight. Before them stood a large welcoming party, consisting of both curious citizens and stern-looking officials. A powerful-looking alien man approached, his face serious. "Princess Myra, welcome home. I am General Kale. We are glad you are safe." His eyes shifted toward Jason suspiciously. "Who is this human?" Myra straightened proudly, holding Jason's hand tightly. "This is Jason, my dad. He saved my life and protected me." General Kale's expression darkened. "Humans are not permitted here. They cannot be trusted." "Jason can be trusted," Myra said firmly, her voice filled with strength. "He has proven himself. He is my family." General Kale hesitated, clearly uncertain how to respond. Zara stepped forward confidently. "General, Jason has earned my respect and trust. He deserves a chance." The crowd murmured uncertainly and the tension rose. Jason stood tall, determined to show he posed no threat. Suddenly, an older alien woman stepped forward from the crowd, her wise eyes gentle and curious. She approached Jason slowly. "Human, why would you risk everything for a child who is not your own?" she asked kindly. "Because Myra needed me," Jason answered honestly, his voice filled with emotion. "And I needed her. We found each other, and we became a family." The woman's eyes softened, clearly moved by Jason's words. She turned to General Kale. "Perhaps, General, we should judge this human by his actions rather than his species." General Kale looked around, sensing the changing mood of the crowd. Reluctantly, he nodded. "Very well. Human, you will be allowed to stay, but you must prove your loyalty and worth to us." Jason nodded respectfully. "I will do everything I can to prove myself." Myra smiled joyfully, hugging Jason tightly. Zara gave Jason a reassuring glance, pleased by the outcome. "Come," she said gently, "you have much to learn." As Jason and Myra followed Zara into the palace, Jason felt both hope and worry. He knew their journey had only just begun, but as he looked down at Myra's happy face, he knew it would all be worth it. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Jason's spaceship drifted through space, Myra quickly adapted to life aboard the ship. Each day was filled with discoveries for her, and Jason enjoyed teaching the curious young alien girl about his world and learning more about hers. Shared meals together, played games, and spent many evenings talking, building a bond stronger than either had expected. One afternoon, Jason was sitting at the control panel, monitoring the ship's course. Myra was quietly drawing nearby, her small hands carefully sketching shapes of planets and stars on paper. She paused, lifting her drawing for Jason to see. "Look, Jason," she said excitedly. "I drew our ship and the stars. Do you like it?" Jason smiled warmly, genuinely impressed. "It's wonderful, Myra. You're getting very good at this." She beamed with pride, placing the drawing carefully on the wall beside her bunk. "I like traveling with you," she said softly. "I feel safe." Jason felt his heart swell at her words. "I'm glad you're with me, Myra. I feel happier with you here, too." Days turned into weeks, and their relationship grew deeper. Myra learned quickly, her sharp mind eagerly absorbing everything Jason taught. Her. She began speaking fluently in his language and soon became a helpful companion, assisting Jason with simple tasks around the ship. One day, they landed on a busy trading station to restock supplies. Jason carefully guided Mira through crowded halls filled with traders from many different species. Myra held tightly onto his hand, her eyes wide with wonder at the colorful sights around her dot as Jason negotiated prices with a vendor. Myra curiously wandered toward a nearby stall displaying shiny objects. She gently reached out to touch a bright crystal when suddenly a loud voice shouted, startling her. "Hands off, thief!" An angry shopkeeper accused, rushing towards Mira. Mira gasped, terrified, quickly stepping back. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean," Jason immediately intervened, stepping protectively in front of Myra. "She wasn't trying to steal anything," he explained calmly. "She was just curious." The shopkeeper eyed Jason suspiciously, but relaxed slightly, noticing Jason's firm yet respectful attitude. "Just keep her close," he grumbled. "Kids shouldn't wander off." Jason nodded, guiding Mira gently away. Once safely distant from the stall, he knelt to Myra's eye level. "Are you all right?" He asked softly. She nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Jason. I didn't want trouble." Jason hugged her reassuringly. "It's okay, Myra. You didn't do anything wrong. Some people just don't understand." Back aboard their ship, Mira seemed quiet and thoughtful. Jason noticed her sadness and sat beside her. "What's wrong, Mira? You seem upset." She looked up at him, her big eyes troubled. "Am I different? Why do people always stare at me?" Jason gently took her hand. "You're special, Mira. Being different isn't a bad thing. Sometimes people are afraid of things they don't understand. But to me, you're perfect just as you are." Myra smiled, comforted by his words, and hugged him tightly. "Thank you, Jason." The ship continued its journey, and Mira became increasingly curious about Jason's past. One quiet evening, she asked him softly, "Jason, do you have family somewhere? Like you and me?" Jason's expression turned thoughtful, slightly sad. "I did, Mira, a long time ago. But they're not with me anymore." "Why?" she asked gently. He sighed softly, memories flooding back. "There was an accident. I lost them, and after that I started traveling alone." Mira reached out and touched his hand tenderly. "You're not alone now. You have me." Jason squeezed her hand warmly, feeling a deep sense of peace he hadn't known in years. "Yes, Mira, you're my family now." Their peaceful life aboard the ship was soon disrupted, however. One afternoon, as they traveled through a quiet sector, the ship's sensors suddenly flashed with an urgent warning. "Jason, what's wrong?" Myra asked nervously. Jason quickly examined the readings, his face tense. "Another ship is following us. It looks like they might be bounty hunters." Myra's eyes widened in fear. "Are they looking for me?" "I don't know, but we need to be careful," Jason replied, quickly steering the ship into evasive maneuvers. Despite Jason's efforts, the pursuing ship rapidly closed the distance. Bright lights flashed through the viewport as warning shots narrowly missed their hull. "Hold on tight, Mira," Jason warned, his hands gripping the controls tightly as he tried desperately to escape. But the hunters were too persistent. Soon, Jason's ship was forcibly docked by the larger vessel, trapping them. Jason shielded Mira protectively as heavily armed aliens boarded the ship. "Hand over the girl," the leader demanded roughly, aiming a weapon at Jason. Jason stepped protectively in front of Mira, his voice steady. "She stays with me." Before Jason could react further, another figure entered the ship. A tall alien woman, fierce and commanding, stepped forward, her weapon pointed directly at Jason. "Step away from the child," she ordered coldly, fearless. Mira suddenly stepped between them, her small arms outstretched protectively. "Stop!" she cried passionately, her voice strong and clear. "This is my dad." The alien woman hesitated, clearly taken aback by Myra's words. She lowered her weapon slightly, studying Mira carefully. Your dad? This human? Myra nodded firmly, unwavering. Yes, Jason is my dad. The woman paused, visibly conflicted, before finally lowering her weapon completely. Very well, she said reluctantly. But you both need to come with me. There is much we must discuss. Jason exchanged a cautious glance with Mira, sensing they had little choice. Holding Myra's hand protectively, he followed the woman aboard. Her ship, uncertain of what lay ahead, but determined to keep Mira safe at all costs. Jason Blake checked the navigation screen again, frowning slightly as his spaceship glided toward an unfamiliar planet. The system had flagged a critical engine warning, and he knew he couldn't ignore it. He gently guided his ship through the planet's thick, swirling clouds and carefully landed on a flat area surrounded by tall, dense trees. Jason stepped outside, feeling the soft, cool wind against his skin. He glanced around cautiously, ensuring the area was safe. The planet seemed quiet, peaceful, and untouched by human influence. Birds sang from hidden branches, and gentle sunlight broke through the thick leaves overhead. He began inspecting the engine, quickly discovering the source of the issue: a broken cooling line. Jason sighed, realizing the repair would take longer than he'd hoped. Still, he felt fortunate that the problem hadn't stranded him somewhere more dangerous. He retrieved tools from the cargo hold and started his careful work. Hours passed, and the daylight slowly faded into a dim golden dusk. Jason wiped his forehead with the back of his hand and took a short break. As he stretched his stiff muscles, a faint rustling noise caught his attention. He turned toward the trees, alert and curious, scanning carefully for movement. Then he saw her, a small figure hiding timidly behind a wide tree trunk. The figure peeked cautiously, bright eyes wide with fear and curiosity. Jason slowly set down his tools and knelt gently, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. "Hello," he said softly, keeping his voice calm and friendly. "It's all right. I'm not here to hurt anyone." The small figure hesitated, then took a cautious step forward into the fading light. Jason saw clearly now. It was a young alien girl. Her skin was pale blue, smooth, and shimmering faintly in the twilight. She had large, bright eyes filled with both wonder and worry, and delicate antennae rested gently atop her head. Her clothes were worn and torn, making it clear she'd been alone for some time. Jason smiled reassuringly. "I'm Jason. What's your name?" She looked at him uncertainly, slowly relaxing as she saw his friendly expression. "Myra," she finally whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "That's a pretty name," Jason said warmly. "Are you alone, Mira? Where's your family?" Myra's eyes grew sad, and she looked down at her small feet, shifting nervously. "Gone," she whispered quietly. "They left me here." Jason felt a pang of sadness in his chest. "Why would they leave you here?" he asked gently. "They were scared," Myra explained, her voice shaking. "Bad people looking for us. Mama said it was safest to hide me here, but they never came back." Jason slowly stood and approached her cautiously, making sure he didn't frighten her. "You've been very brave, Mira. How long have you been here alone?" She shrugged slightly, unable to fully grasp time. "Long time," she replied softly. "I am hungry and scared." Jason's heart went out to her. "Come with me," he said gently, holding out his hand. "I have food and shelter. You don't have to be afraid anymore." Myra hesitated, looking at Jason's outstretched hand. After a moment, she reached out carefully and took his hand, her tiny fingers gripping tightly. Jason led her gently back to the spaceship, her small footsteps quickening with nervous anticipation. Inside, Jason showed Mira around the modest but comfortable living quarters. He prepared a simple meal, watching with relief as she ate hungrily. Her eyes never left him, filled with cautious gratitude and curiosity. As she finished her meal, Mira yawned deeply, clearly exhausted. "You can sleep here," Jason said gently, indicating a small, cozy bunk. "I promise I'll watch over you." Myra climbed onto the bunk, curling up immediately. Within moments, she drifted into a deep sleep, her small face peaceful for the first time in ages. Jason sat quietly, watching her sleep, feeling a profound sense of responsibility he'd never experienced before. Over the next few days, Jason worked hard repairing the engine, while Mira gradually adjusted to her new surroundings. She began to trust Jason completely, following him closely and asking endless questions. Jason patiently answered each one, teaching her about his spaceship, humans, and the stars they traveled through. Finally, the repairs were complete. Jason knew he had to leave, but as he looked at Mira playing quietly nearby, the thought of leaving her behind felt impossible. "Myra," Jason said softly, kneeling beside her, "I have to leave soon." Her large eyes widened with sudden fear. "Don't. Leave me, Jason. Please don't leave me." He took her tiny hand in his own, reassuringly squeezing it. "I wasn't thinking of leaving you," he said gently. "I want you to come with me, Mira. You can stay with me and be safe." Tears welled up in Mira's eyes, relief and joy mingling together. "Really? I can come with you?" Jason nodded firmly, smiling warmly. "You're part of my family now, Mira. We'll look after each other." With a delighted laugh, Mira threw her arms around Jason's neck, hugging him tightly. Jason returned the embrace, deeply moved by the trust and affection of this little girl who had faced so much fear and loneliness that soon. They boarded the spaceship together, leaving the beautiful but lonely planet behind. Jason felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that he wasn't alone anymore, and neither was Mira. They traveled through the stars, heading toward their future, completely unaware of the adventures and dangers that awaited them.